Good morning, everybody. Don't mind the microwave. Just me doing some Weetabix and what have you. But I have some kind of cereal, haven't I? But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I wanted to talk about Nick Lowells again because I was planning to put out my original take on this yesterday. I obviously had to put up the other more urgent video about Tommy Robinson being arrested in Canada, but this video is going to be focused a small extent on Nigel Farage, but mostly on Nick Lowells. So, anybody who has looked up Hope Not Hate, I actually looked them up yesterday morning. I looked up their YouTube channel, the Hope Not Hate channel, and saw that they had put out a video basically trying to discredit Nigel Farage, as is to be expected with a far left extremist group. But I find it funny how they try to say that Nigel Farage was a privately taught stockbroker, to which that is absolutely not true. Hell, I found this out in less than 60 seconds. If you do a search for Nigel Farage on Wikipedia, and I even went a step further, I went the Control F function and I searched up stock. No, not the actual stock, just the word stock. Do you know what I found? I found 3 instances of that word being used, and all of them were linked to his father, who was heavily invested in stock, and I think also suffered some significant losses during the time against the Nazis and what have you. So everything they said about that, about Nigel Farage, is completely untrue. What isn't untrue, though, is I'm freaking hungry. Anyway, everything they said about him was completely untrue, and basically nothing they shouldn't even be considered credible, considering, as I've said before, they've overinflated hate crime figures, especially in the area of Joe Cox, by 3,000%, and as said before, nothing that they said after that point should have been taken as credible. But that's the thing with Hope Not Hate. They base themselves as this supposedly anti-fascist party, yet they're always seemingly campaigning against anybody who is considered even remotely right-wing or against the left-wing narrative. I find it particularly disturbing that Nick Lowells, when he was getting exposed by Tommy Robinson, ended up basically having a hissy fit on Twitter and said that he was going to go after anyone on the right. I'll go more into that detail later. But Nick Lowells has effectively teamed up with certain people to blackmail, coerce, bribe, even drug certain people into basically saying what they want them to say so they can pump out the negative media to the world and say, look what this, that and the other done. Because that's the kind of person Nick Lowells is. He's a snake. He's one of those sorts of people that would bite you in the arse as you are walking around on a nice garden path stroll. He doesn't give a shit who he infects with his poison. He just does it anyway for the sakes of the left-wing values. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. He won't give a shit if it's somebody innocent or somebody guilty. Hell, does anybody remember what happened with regards to Tommy Robinson? Because I do. How Nick Lowells decided, and Hope Not Hate decided, to put up a detailed diagram, basically, of Tommy Robinson's family house that his family and his kids had to move out of. Literally even telling them where they could find the fucking bedrooms. Now, who would do that normally? Who would think it is okay to dox the family home and endanger someone's kids? Apparently Nick Lowells would. People like Dick Coughlin would. You know, the racist who ended up visiting Tommy Robinson's home and threatened his kids by saying, and I quote, "Oh, and by the way, I am going to mince your kids, mate." End quote. Of course, they won't admit any of this because the left wing has no shame, they have no integrity, and they sure as shit have no balls. Because the only thing they are capable of doing is lying to us. Lying through their teeth as well. I have to keep an eye on the time. I've got about 10 more minutes, basically. Maybe 5. Just on a slight off tangent as well, the reason I'm doing this video at home is because on Monday, I believe it was, or was it Friday, I can't remember off the top of my head, but the boss basically said that he and his wife, because it's a husband and wife team, even spotted me as I walk up to work on my phone, preoccupied. I don't know if he's 100% aware of what I was doing on the road, recording videos and what have you, but it would be safe now to say I need to be very, very cautious as far as recording videos is concerned, because if he actually does find out that I'm recording videos, then obviously I'm going to get investigated, which will likely mean I could end up being fired, which I really don't want to happen, but I won't be surprised if it does, more than anything. But as I said before, I won't be afraid to expose the company doing it. So yeah. But if they want to try it, it is what it is. Back on point though, Nick Lowells would always go after people and basically try to slander them, discredit them, cancel them, do whatever it takes. They've done it to many people, not just Tommy Robinson. Some guy even lost his job on the back of those wankers basically harassing his workplace just because he was against open door immigration and Islamic immigration. It's a very sad story when you have far left extremist groups like Hope Not Hate who are so maligned and so malicious that they need to go out of their way to destroy people's livelihood. And I think that's fundamentally wrong. To go out of your way to maliciously get someone kicked off of their income is disgusting. I accept that I've also advocated for Mark Rowley to resign. But there's a difference between wanting him to resign and actually going out of your way to get the companies to fire people. Now, Nick Lowells, as well, did end up getting exposed by Tommy Robinson, as did Hope Not Hate, because Tommy put out a documentary about them, and he said that it isn't even over. Of course, I mentioned earlier in the video that Nick Lowells had a hissy fit. Well, it turned out that Tommy Robinson managed to get a mole in Hope Not Hate. They now know who it is, unfortunately, so not much they can do, but they did an amazing job because it turned out Nick Lowells was actually planning to put out a book on Tommy Robinson, basically discrediting him to the nation. Politics, sex, money, drugs, all that stuff. Of course, when this documentary came out, where's the book? Yeah, I'll give you 3 guesses on that shit. Basically, he had to stop it because obviously if it gets out there that this libelous, slanderous information is out there under his name, do you think Nick Lowells is going to have a fun time in court? Something tells me not. But he got confronted by Tommy Robinson as well, who exposed everything his company, his organization, or is it really a cult more than anything, has done to people like Tommy Robinson. God, this stuff is heavy. Anyway, he exposed a lot of the stuff that they did and effectively went on the attack. As he quite rightly should. Because Nick Lowells could have, well, he has put his kids' lives in danger. And he has gone out of his way to try and put Tommy Robinson in prison for crimes he's never committed. Unfortunately, I also looked up a little while ago the laws on contempt of court, and it is not time barred, unfortunately. So this is why we're seeing what's happened with the Silence documentary that was leaked in the US. Not by Tommy, it was already in the US, and the US decided to leak it. Tommy even complied with their draconian law of, I will not leak the podcast because obviously it would discredit them to the nation, and obviously, even more obviously, because he'd go to jail for it. He complied with that. I personally wouldn't have blamed him if he didn't, because obviously that's fascism. That is unequivocal fascism from our establishment. But of course, the mainstream media won't want to tell you that. But it got leaked by the US. Someone in the US leaked it. And it's now, and the judge was even told of this, by the way. And now they're bringing it back 2 years later. When Tommy is about to have his protest on the 27th of June, they're going to see him in jail on the 29th. Again, mainstream media don't want to tell you this. Why else do you think as well, though, they did that arrest in Canada? To keep him there. Potentially stop him from getting to that protest. And then conveniently ship him back when he no longer has the ability to go to that protest. That's what I suspect is going on more than anything. But back to Nick Lowells. He basically was confronted by Tommy, and he got so desperate, he then threw the accusation of, you're a drug dealer, which Tommy Robinson has never dealt any drugs in his life. Yeah, nice job, Nick Lowells. Nice job making yourself look like an idiot. Don't assume. Otherwise, you make an ass out of you and not me. But what he said regarding that book and regarding him having a hissy fit is he basically said that he has effectively taken this personally. Very fucking personally, in his own words. And he's going to go after anybody who is even remotely affiliated with Tommy Robinson. He has really gone off the deep end with that. But it's also chilling to think that he's willing to do this to ordinary people as well. He's basically confirmed he's willing to do it to Tommy, and now he's willing to do it to us. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's scary. To think a man is that unhinged, that he is willing to maliciously target people now. I think the cold bitter truth is that he's upset that someone has exposed his narrative, exposed his organisation, exposed how his company works, and he wants revenge. Well, revenge is not coming for Nick Lowells, because justice only serves the right side of history, and of course the people who stay within the boundaries of the law. And I think, Nick Lowells, you're about to get, as with the rest of it, with the trash that is, taken out. Because we, the British people, are here to take out the trash. And you, Nick Lowells, most certainly fit that description. A man willing to stab anyone in the back. A man willing to put out fake news and libelous slander out on anyone just because they have a differing opinion to the left-wing Marxist globalist agenda. And you, Nick Lowells, are a fucking disgrace. And hopefully one day, because there's 3 criminal investigations that were opened against them, hope not hate, mainly after Paul Golding and Tommy Robertson went after them. Let us hope that those are still ongoing and they take out the trash and put Nick Lowells where he rightfully belongs, where he's trying to put Tommy, behind a set of rolled iron bars.